Greetings, Redline Rangers and Rangerettes. Today's video is highlighting the repaint question that comes up every once in a while in our auctions and also in collections that we receive and sometimes buy. And here's 3 examples of cars that have come in recently that were upfront. The consignor told me, and I verified, that the particular casting was repainted. I'll show you the difference between the two, and you can see the two spinning right in front of you there. The very tough lime yellow Chaparral 2G 1969 Grand Prix casting made in the US, and right next to it is sort of a flavor of a violet pink repaint Chaparral 2G with a reproduction paint, reproduction wheels, reproduction stickers, reproduction wing, versus the lime yellow that's all original. Tires, paint, wing. And that will be the theme for the tow trucks in the back there and the Light My Firebirds. And this is just sort of an FYI. We do have questions every once in a while. Like I said, someone will ask about a car. They'll say, could you verify, why is it a repaint? What are some of the subtle telltales, if you will? And I'm here as a resource for you. And if you ever have a question about a car, if it's a repaint or not, or if it's original, feel free to send me pictures. I'm happy to do that. I'm more than happy to keep the integrity of the hobby, and that nobody inadvertently, unknowing, they just didn't know, bought a repaint and paid too much money for something like that. So let's look at these together. And the first thing you're going to notice is that the wheels are not even close as far as what they should be. The Chaparrals came with all mediums, 4 mediums. And the posts are typically the best way to tell if the car has been taken apart and re-glued. A US or Hong Kong post will look something like that. It's a spun action done at the factory. A spun action. So it was machined. And what you're looking at here with the repaint is actually, it looks like a hex screw. This is very common. You'll find that very common. Now, keep this in mind because the tow truck will be a completely different type of attachment screw versus a hex nut. Look at the base. Sometimes it'll be shined up. It'll be buffed up or that. You'll see strokes. You'll see indications of some sort of machining. Maybe they use a Dremel, whatever, to make it shiny. Now, I'm not taking away from the beauty because this is a really gorgeous repaint. There's no doubt about it. Beautiful car. And someone's going to love to put this in their Redline collection. So I'm not taking away from it. Gorgeous piece. Wheels. Let's look at those together. So the repaint is actually, it's mimicking a deep dish. You see how the hubs are sort of indented into the plastic? It's mimicking a deep dish appearance. You can't see the top of the hub. Whereas an original is going to be that very thin red line. You see the very, very thin, subtle red line there. So then the wheels, both are bearing. You see a little bearing in there. But that's a telltale in the wheels. Now look at the wings. You see the difference in color? Very light white, and the wing doesn't move. It's very, very stiff. An original. I'm excited about this. I want to show you this too because this has come up in conversation many, many times. What is an original wing? And the wing will bend very gently. That's why when you ship a Chaparral, please take the wing off of it, wrap it up separately, put it in a clamshell all by itself, or wrap it in bubble all by itself, so that the casting is not wrapped up like this. You don't want that to happen, because that wing is 50 some year old wing. That thing will break off in a nanosecond. So be very careful with that. Now here are the telltales. You see those two round little these areas right here? Notice closely that you'll see some plastic protrusion, like almost like a triangle, a little plastic. That is an original US wing. There is nothing like that on the reproduction. See the difference between the two? The size, the round, the diameter, as well as there's no plastic, I guess a plastic piece protruding, if you will. So that's the difference in the chaparrals. This lime yellow is going to be a star of the show. An absolutely gorgeous piece. I don't get many lime yellows, to be honest with you. They're very tough to find. And on top of it, how clean. A chaparral is very known for its wear on top of the wheels, on the edges. The edges are very, very sharp, meaning that they're vulnerable for, bumping into stuff, and, it's just a small casting, so it's going to bounce around in a case. So be very careful in how you handle your chaparral. So let's take those off now. We've looked at the differences between the two. The reproduction, I don't have, obviously there's no stickers on the original, but yeah, that's reproduction. They're much bigger. The 66 is much, I guess if you will, it's actual diameter of the number, not the circle, but the number is very tall versus the original. So, I mean, it's a nice effort, There's most definitely someone's going to love this one. I'm going to sell it as a repaint. All right. So let's put those up there. Chaparrals are there. So now the tow trucks. I talked about this a little bit on the box opening the other day, but this pink is actually, it glows under black light. The translucent paint that was selected by the restorer used I don't know where it came from, but it's definitely a translucent paint, because when I put a black light on it, it's kind of a tweener. It's between pink, hot pink, and salmon. It's got like an orange glow to it to a certain extent. But the top part, this is all original. You can tell because the sticker, the tow service, the mechanism, this was simply taken off of an original like that and placed onto this. So let's look at the tires. You can see that some silver paint was applied to the original. This is an original tire, but it was touched up, if you will. See the little touch-up areas there? It's really hard to have a steady hand when you're touching up chrome on a wheel. So you can kind of tell there's some little blotch areas there. See those right there? Whereas an original Hong Kong shoe, not even close. It's not going to be showing any type of blotching, if you will, or outside the circle. See that? And then let's look at I talked about the posts before. This was used with a straight post. You see how it's not looking spun? It's simply just dropped in and glued on. And versus the original post, which is going to show a little bit of Spectraflame paint, and then it was spun. See that? Also, if you're looking at it closer, you can see that the Hong Kong name has been taken off. And you can tell by the streaks a little bit on there that this car has been obviously machined and polished, if you will. See the difference in the posts? Yeah. The original is also going to show, especially with red, Hong Kong red, sometimes you get like what I call like a bleeding, maybe off-gassing, where the plastic will start absorbing or taking on some of that paint. You can see a little hue of red on the toe mechanism. And also very indicative of original is the Hong Kong popping. See those little micro pins right there? That's part of the Hong Kong quality control. I say that tongue in cheek, but it's original. This car has never seen a track time. I know where it came from, and very well taken care of. You see areas like this or areas like that. That was her factory, and they also, this was in a heavyweight clam shell, the blister pack type thing. So there's obviously areas of concern where the car would have had some sort of wear because of its shipped in the blister pack. White interior versus dark interior. And then last but not least, the repaint versus original is a Light My Firebird. So I've got two for you right here. And the subtle differences are pretty pronounced. The original is going to have that Hong Kong popping on the paint. Original roundel is offset, the number, popping there. They're all made in Hong Kong, so you're going to have the blue glass. Hong Kong has very shiny shoes. There's the post. The taillight paint, very tough to find them with taillight paint still there. These will actually, if you take a black light, if you have one, which I recommend you do, for any collector, keep a black light with you so you can verify your cars. You'll see this will glow under black light. That's really a telltale for originality. So let's look at the difference right there, as long as we're talking about taillights. See how the taillight was painted? Wait, where is it? There it is. Yeah, see how that was painted? You just took a brush with some paint, not even close there. The posts, again, this particular restorer used a hex type of mechanism to screw it on. I used to use hex screws when I was doing my restorations back in the day. I'm going to say not too much effort with cleaning up the base. There are the posts on the front. All original, spun, machine spun, and a reproduction hex screw. The roundels, original, and then the reproduction, it's more of there are some other subtle differences too, but you have to look really close. But you can see that it's a very, the 6 shouldn't be looking like that. It should be offset a little bit on an angle. The paint itself is really nice, turned out beautifully. Look at that shine. Obviously the shoes, large in the back, medium in the front, and those are very like chromy, like big time chrome, versus the original down here, which is not as chromy. The grills painted here. You can see a little bit of that popping in the paint there versus original over here. There you go. Yeah, they restored it a great job. The paint looks excellent. Sometimes a restorer will take a little bit of a rub and they'll rub some of the paint off. You'll see these two areas right there to make it look more authentic. Again, I'm not saying there was nefarious action here, but I've seen it. Not necessarily with this restorer, but I've seen it done where they actually kind of rub a little bit to make it look like it was worn. So be careful, that's all. And again, if you want to verify a car, if you're concerned about its authenticity, look me up. I'm happy to take a look for you and give it my best effort to make sure that, again, we keep the integrity of the hobby intact. That's what we want to do. You just never know nowadays. And I'm not trying to create a conspiracy or anything here, but this is just sort of, again, another little tutorial for you to have fun in the hobby. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'll have much more for you. I've got a beautiful collection coming in. I can't wait to show you. Oh boy, do you like beach bombs? There, I said it. Until we meet again. Bye, everyone.